Warning. Alone Against the Static is a horror scenario and explores themes of grief, isolation, relationships, and heartbreak. This is recommended for mature audiences only. You crest the rise that leads back to the cabin. The sun is high in the sky. It's late morning, soon to be afternoon. You sigh. There's no sign of the car, and therefore you're probably still without power or your partner for now. You head inside. Everything is well lit by the late morning glow. You change out of your walking clothes and leave them on the bed, then head into the bedroom to shower. Water cascades into the waiting tub below, filling the room with a constant loud drizzle that is almost like white noise. The pressure is lousy without power to the pump, but gravity does most of the work. Thank God the water heater is gas-powered. You wash your face and scrub clean the pores of your nose. You turn around in the shower to scrub your back. You pause. Just ahead, the door to the bathroom is wide open. You're certain you closed it. You shut the shower off and step out, grabbing a towel and wrapping it around you. "Honey, is that you?" You call out, but there's no reply. You stand in the empty cabin. Nothing else. You're alone. So we need to make a sanity roll. And I got a feeling that, I don't know, we might succeed, we might not. Let's go ahead and roll. Hey, we actually rolled. Well, we got a 16 versus a 59. Even though you're still warm from the shower, you shiver a little. You shove the anxiety down. The door probably swung open on its own. Seems like everything in this cabin is a little faulty. Time to get dressed. You stretch, roll your head around a few times to work the tired muscles, then head over to the bed and open your suitcase. You purse your lips and consider how you're feeling. So we actually have some options here for getting dressed. We can put on jeans and a t-shirt, and we can check practical on our log sheet, or we can put on warm, soft track pants and a sweater for comfortable. Now, fortunately for me, I am a practical kind of dude, so I'm going to go ahead and opt for the jeans and t-shirt, which I don't really see how that's all too practical, but oh well. We're going to be inside the cabin, so, well, actually, then again, well, no, because the heater's gas-powered, right? So we really don't have to worry about heat here. So, yeah, let's go with the practical option. Although I really don't see how jeans and a t-shirt is practical. It really doesn't add any benefits whatsoever. I mean, honestly, I would find the sweater to be more practical than the t-shirt. But, oh well, there we go. So, we are practical. Let's move on to the next prompt. Freshly dressed, you feel renewed. Now, what to do with the afternoon while you wait for your partner to return? Hopefully they have a solution to the power problem. We can either make some food, or we could search for flashlights and batteries, so we have a light for when it gets dark. Or we could try to restore the power ourselves, and that actually is probably a really bad idea. I'm actually taking a look at the character sheet for Alex right now, and he has no mechanical repair. Well, it's 10%, which might as well be none. So that option is not going to be used. You know, since we just finished a rather lengthy walk, it only makes sense that we're going to make some food. You head to the kitchenette. You're glad the fridge and stove are powered by gas. You cook up a meal, then enjoy it alone at the little dining table. So now we are well fed. Now we can eat and enjoy the food, or we can pick at the plate unenthusiastically and worry about your situation. Now, quite honestly, that's probably the option I'm going to go with, but I do find it funny that you have the option to choose to either be happy and eat or not. So we're going to pick out our plate because that probably seems like the most humane thing that would happen in this certain situation. The woods are lonely, dark, and deep. You're here alone, in a cabin with no power, kidding yourself that everything will be fine. So long as the sun remains up, you're able to keep yourself fooled. But you know, with every passing minute, that the sun is edging closer to the horizon line, racing to leave you in darkness. So we need to make another sanity roll, and our sanity is currently at 59. We did pass once. Maybe we can do it again. Nope, that is a failure. So we are actually going to lose 1 sanity. And so now we need to look for flashlights and batteries because it is getting dark and, well, we don't want to be in the darkness. I believe we're now a nyctophobe, so we kind of have that fear of darkness. So let's try to look for some batteries and a flashlight. You know there was a heavy-duty flashlight in the car, but it's gone now. What do you have here in the cabin? Right now, when the sun goes down, you'll be left in the dark. Make a spot hidden roll. Our spot hidden is at 65, so that's actually a pretty good chance. Let's see. Oh, that's a failure. Well, here's the thing. We can push the roll at the risk of an unfortunate accident, which doesn't sound too good. But also at the same time, I feel like we really need to do so. Another alternative is that we could spend luck, and I would only need to spend 9 luck because we rolled a 74 versus our 65. So we could spend like 9 luck points to get there, but that seems like a lot for luck. I say we push the roll. And the new roll is a 50 versus 65, so we succeeded. In the cupboard beneath the sink, you find a little plastic container with a mini flashlight in it. You switch it on. It works, but the beam is weak. The batteries are probably dying. You look for spares in the pantry, the bathroom, and in the bedside tables. Eventually, your gaze settles on the TV cabinet. You cross the cabin to the television and perch on your knees in front of it. You open the cabinet and scan over the videotapes. You move some of them aside to look deeper into the cabinet. In the dark, right at the back, you find a blister pack of batteries. They must be kept here for the remote control, but they fit the flashlight. Jackpot. You swap the batteries out, and the beam becomes much stronger. And can I just say, I don't really see any way that these batteries are going to fit a flashlight. Because if I remember correctly, flashlights nowadays, like those big heavy-duty flashlights, they use those big hefty batteries. And remote controls do not. They use like double A's. Some of them would use AAA batteries. So I really don't see how this works out. But, oh well, we have a fully charged flashlight now. I'm not going to complain because horrible things are probably going to be coming out soon. And we're going to need everything that we have. You can't think of anything else to do in the cabin, and restlessness is creeping in. For a while, you lie on the sofa and read an old beat-up paperback from a shelf in the corner. You think it's pretty good, but a little flowery and overwritten, not to mention how grating prose written in the second person can be. And for some reason, we need to make a listen roll. Okay, methinks that something is coming out. Actually, that's me metagaming right there. And you know your players are going to do that too. When you have them make a listen roll out of the blue and they're like, oh wait, what's coming up? And they start getting all antsy. Regardless, our listen is at 60%, so we do stand a pretty good chance of getting this right. And we actually got an extreme success of 4 versus our 60, so that's really cool. Unfortunately, we don't have very many instances, or at least none that I've seen so far, where extreme successes have become a thing. But oh well. I mean, this is a choose-your-own-adventure style game, so I can't be too nitpicky about it. You hear footsteps outside. They crunch on the gravel driveway. You sit up. You didn't hear a car approach. You stand up nervously and creep across to the window. A balding middle-aged man is standing just outside the front door. He's dressed in a thick winter coat and has his hands in his pockets. You do not recognize him. He lifts his hand to the cabin door and knocks. So we have 2 options here. We can pretend that nobody's home and wait for the stranger to leave, or we can answer the door. And really, Pretending that nobody's home is kind of like the worst thing I feel like you could do in this instance, because we're kind of without power. And anybody could have actually seen our car come up. Maybe he actually knows that we're supposed to be here. So there's all sorts of different things that we just don't know as a player. So I'm going to opt to answer the door. Hopefully he's not like, Ted Bundy and going to murder us. Actually, I think Ted Bundy only really murdered females, right? So, oh well. I guess I can say I'm really glad I'm not playing as Charlie. You cross to the door, unlatch it, and pull it open. Hello? The stranger looks you up and down, his face devoid of expression. Hello, he says. He isn't smiling. He looks past your shoulder into the cabin. Is Julie home? Julie. That's Mark's wife. Okay. We can either ask who the strange man is or tell him Julie isn't here. And obviously, even though that Julie is not here, you're just not going to divulge that information. Who is this guy? Sorry, who are you? You ask. He ignores your question. Julie, is she home? Make a spot hidden roll. Oh gosh. The metagaming right now. Make a spot hidden check. What does this guy have? Is he gonna murder us? Does he have like a pistol in his pocket or a knife? Is he gonna like shank us right here in the doorway? I mean, technically nobody can see us because we're out in the deep wilderness, right? So, okay. I'm really glad though that our spot hidden is like at 65. So we got a hard success. So that's an 18 versus 65. Really nice. You glance past the stranger to see the clearing behind him where your car was parked. The clearing that leads to the main road. It's empty. This guy must have walked to the cabin. Ooh, okay. I really hope he's not like lost out here, because I ain't taking him in, that's for sure. You don't know what to say next. Are you lost? You ask. Just looking for Julie, he replies. Can you tell me your name? He stares at you. You stare back. Sir? You ask. Is Julie home? He asks again. Ooh. So now we got 3 different options. You can keep talking. You can ask the stranger to leave. Or you could close this door on a stranger. And quite honestly, I don't want to keep talking, because this is already a strange enough situation as it is. But if I ask the stranger to leave, that's just going to provoke him. So the best thing to do in this situation, and obviously if you're home alone and you're in this situation, the best thing to do is to close the door on the stranger. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, you say slowly and narrow your eyes. Thanks. He stares unfaltering as you shut the door in his face. You worry he might try to stick a foot in the way, but he doesn't. You lock the door. Wow, and surprisingly we have 2 options here. We can either go back to reading, or we can loiter by the door to see if he leaves. And that actually seems like the best option. Like, I don't really find us going back to read a smart thing to do, but also something that a normal person would do. I mean, there's a stranger that was at our door. Why would we not be worried about that? You wait a few moments, then you hear him step away from the door. You move to the window and look out. You see him leaving. He doesn't head down the driveway. He takes the trail that leads into the forest. The same trail you went walking on earlier. Ooh, now here are some interesting options. We could either follow the stranger, or we could make sure the door's locked. Now, as a player, I definitely want to follow the stranger, but I also know that's like a really bad idea in real life. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to make sure that this door is closed and locked, and we are going to hunker down until Charlie gets back. You need to make sure the cabin's safe. You check every lock you can find. You pull the door closed and lock it, sliding across the deadbolt to make doubly sure. Then you walk to the bathroom and check the window. You latch it shut too. The other windows in the cabin don't open, and there's just the one door in and out. It all seems safe. Alright, and we get to mark lockdown on the log sheet. Hopefully that works against spooky monsters that are gonna try to eat us or something. Regardless, the bear should not be opening any doors to try to get at our Snickers bars or anything like that, so I think we're safe. And now it's time to settle in for the night. And that's actually really surprising because Charlie still isn't back and it's getting dark. Like, she's been gone all day. It's dark. Clouds cover the sky and the moon is hidden. You lay on top of the bed for a while, listening to the wind shaking the branches of the pines all around. Every few minutes, you think you hear your partner arriving back. Every time, you're wrong. When you walk around the cabin, you use your flashlight to guide your way. After a few hours, you make yourself a sandwich and eat it in the dark. While you chew, there is a knock on the door. It is a single knock. Suffocating silence follows it. So we can either ignore the knock or answer the door. Now, I actually wish there was a third prompt because honestly, I wouldn't do either of those unless answering the door is saying something like, who's there? But I'm not just going to open the door without knowing who's there. Anyways, I think the best option is to actually open or to answer the door, as they put it, which I really hope means saying something to ask who's there. You set the sandwich aside and swallow. You walk to the door, the flashlight guiding your way. Hello? You open the door. Darkness. The flashlight spreads a cone of dim light out into the night. The wind and the cold wash over you. Wow, we really just opened the door without any reaction or anybody to actually talk to us. That's how people get murdered in horror movies, by the way. Okay, so the first thing that we actually need to do is make another sanity roll. So you really know that shit is about to hit the fan because we've made 3 sanity rolls so far. And I actually got a regular success, so that's really good. 31 versus 58. Now we can either dismiss the noise as an accident or wait a moment longer. And, oh man. Because if it was Charlie, she'd obviously be standing there or she would have responded to us. I think we're just going to go ahead and close the door or dismiss the noise as an accident, which, man, I really wish they could be a little bit more specific about what you're doing. You close the door. You didn't realize how cold it was until the slight warmth of the cabin returns. You go back to the kitchen and sit dejectedly before what is left of your sandwich. Later, you follow the flashlight back to the bed and get under the covers, rubbing your arms and legs to stay warm. Upon the cabinet at the foot of the bed, the television turns on. The power is back. Let's go ahead and turn on the lights. But I also got a feeling that the power's not back on. So this might be one of those spooky sanity things. You reach across to the bedside lamp and flick the switch. Nothing. You get out of bed and use the flashlight to find the light switch on the wall. Nothing. You cross the cabin and step into the bathroom. You flick the switch. Nothing. Nothing. Just a TV tuned to the VCR, displaying slightly illuminated black. Oh boy, I guess it's time to inspect the TV. It's quiet. The VCR is purring. The TV is dim. So there are some different options here, depending on what's marked on our log sheet. For example, if the quiet in the evening is checked, we have to go to that prompt. The couple who came to the cabin, we can go to that prompt. You can play the tape from last night, or you can leave the TV alone. Unfortunately, because we have the quiet in the evening ticked on the log sheet, we need to go to that prompt. You produce the tape you found in the dilapidated shed. The title, written in black marker pen on the label, reads, "The Quiet in the Evening." You take the tape to the television set and sit on your knees to reach the VCR. Well, since we are already knee-deep in this, pun intended, we're going to go ahead and play the tape. You insert the tape and press play. The screen flutters for a moment. Then, the sounds of the force come in. This tape looks to have also been made with a handheld camcorder. The person recording is looking at a campfire. Flames are licking around a wet log. The sizzle and crack of wood merges with the rustle of surrounding trees. After a few moments of this, you hear a voice. It's a man's voice with a strange sing-song tone that reminds you of adult presenters on kids' television. "It's so nice and quiet here at night," the voice says. You're pretty sure it belongs to whoever is holding the camera. "Alone with my thoughts? Not a care in the world, I must say." The banality of this lonely self-talk creeps you out. The camera jolts to the left. It is now centered on the tree line, right on the edge of the light from the fire where the forest plunges into darkness. "Hello," the man says. There is nothing but the quiet crackling of the fire. "Hello?" He stands up. He walks closer to the forest. "Is someone out there?" Faintly, somewhere in the dark, you hear the muted sound of shouting. "What did you say?" the cameraman calls. Again, the muted sounds of yelling. The cameraman stands staring into the dark for a few moments longer. Then, hastily, he turns the camera down to face his boot-clad feet, strides back to his camp, and crawls into his tent. Panting, he quickly zips the entrance flap up. The tape ends. So surprisingly, we can actually go back, rewind the tape, that is, and raise the volume. And I think I'm actually going to do that. You rewind the tape, watching as the images flash in reverse before you. You stop at the part where the man turns the camera toward the forest. You crank the volume to max. "Hello?" the man says. You hear a very quiet voice yelling out in the dark. "Hello? He stands up. He walks closer to the forest. "Is someone out there?" And so just as I was hoping for, we need to make a listen roll, and our listen is at 60, so we do stand a fairly good chance of succeeding. Unfortunately, we do not. But we also have the option of pushing the roll. And I think I want to, because I'm really interested. As a player, I'm genuinely interested. So let's go ahead and push the roll. Okay, 37 versus 60 is a success. You strain your ears. The reply is faint, made in a haggard voice. "It's eating me!" "What did you say?" the cameraman calls back. Again, the haggard, hoarse, screaming voice replies, "It's eating me!" The cameraman stands staring into the dark for just a few moments longer. Then, hastily, he turns the camera down to face his boot-clad feet and strides back to his camp and crawls into his tent. You hear the distant voice call out one last time. "Help me! It's everywhere! I can't..." The tape ends. Oh, but we do need to make a sanity roll. Okay, no, that's fine. We got a regular success, a 53 versus 58. I'm really happy that I've, for the most part, passed all of these sanity checks. Alex will not be going crazy today. You feel a cold knot in your stomach. You swallow against it. You eject the tape. You manage to hold yourself together, but only just. We still lose one sanity for that. Okay, well, I mean, that is Call of Cthulhu, I guess, so I can't really complain too much about that. Alright, so we've popped out the VCR tape. We can actually choose something else to do. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pop in the couple who came to the cabin just to see what that one is. And I think this is the one that we watched the previous night with Julie and Mark or whatever his name is. You take the tape you found jammed in the camcorder and look at it. Written on the side is the couple who came to the cabin. You sit down in front of the television set and put the tape into the VCR. And of course, we're going to go ahead and press play. The tape starts. The screen shows a wooden wall. It pans around. Your stomach sinks as you realize that the screen is showing the interior of the cabin, the one you're currently in. The person holding the camera is looking around. They pan over the bed and the TV set. Then they turn to the kitchen where a blonde woman is unpacking grocery bags. You feel a wave of relief when you realize the woman is Julie, Mark's wife. Mark must be holding the camera. "Hey, hot stuff," he says. And Julie looks up and laughs. "Oh God, put that away." "We're here live in the Dakota Black Hills with Julie Montgomery," he says and closes in on her smiling face. "Julie, is this your first time in the hills?" She rolls her eyes and continues to unpack the groceries, but plays along. "No, it's my second. I'm pretty sure you were here with me the first time too, Reporter Mark." Okay. Mark steps around the kitchen table, closer to her. "But can you confirm the rumors that you fell madly in love with a handsome member of the press during your last visit?" Julie shakes her head. "No, those rumors are unfounded." She chuckles and bats at Mark with a brand new stainless steel frying pan pulled from the grocery bag. Mark dodges away, giggling. Julie holds the pan up to playfully hide her face, as if avoiding the paparazzi. "Well, Julie, we'll just have to..." The camera swings around and looks at the cabin door. You hear Julie off screen ask, "Was that a knock?" "I think so," Mark says. The camera drops to the side, showing an upside-down picture of Julie in the kitchen while he walks to the door and opens it. Can I help you?" You cannot see who he is talking to. All you can see is an inverted Julie biting her nails. "Are Alex and Charlie here?" You hear a voice ask. Sorry?" Mark says. "Alex and Charlie, are they here?" "No, you've got the wrong house." "When will they be here?" They won't be here." "I'm sorry, who are you?" Silence. Julie backs into the kitchen, away from the door. "Hey," Mark says. "Come back." And the tape ends. Well, another sanity roll coming our way. All right, 57 out of 60. Ooh, that is a failure. With an 80 versus 57. Who the hell was here asking for you? Was this years ago? It doesn't make any sense. The tape came from Mark's camcorder, so is that his shed out in the woods? Why didn't he say anything about it? It must be a coincidence, right? Just some weird... No, it's not. Something horrid is going on, and just trying to wrap your thoughts around it hurts your brain. All right, so we lose 1d4 points of sanity. And so I rolled a 3. So we're going to lose 3 sanity from that. Well, I think it's safe to say that our time with the VCR is over. So we are going to leave the TV alone and, well, hopefully get some sleep. Or who knows, maybe Charlie will actually come on in. You turn away from the television set and cross over to the bed. You sit down and try to avoid looking at it. You can hear it humming ever so softly. So we can try to head to sleep, or we can step out onto the porch and look one last time for the return of Charlie. And that's going to be a no. So we're just going to try to go to sleep here. You crawl under the covers without bothering to get changed. At least here it is warm. You set the flashlight by the side of the bed and switch it off. Then you curl up around your pillow, listening to the sound of the wind outside, and wait to fall asleep. A thump at the cabin door startles you awake. You hadn't been asleep long. You fumble for the flashlight and switch it on. You draw the light to the cabin door. It sits there, still locked, just as you left it. The door suddenly shudders with another violent bang. You hear a hoarse grunt just before the impact. Someone on the other side, a man by the sound of it, is yelling incomprehensibly. He is pounding against the door again and again. It shudders under his weight. The door frame is slowly beginning to split. Alright, so we do have some options here. We can either call out to the man, hide, find something to defend ourselves with, or brace the door so it stays shut. And I'm actually, oh man, I should really stop looking at my stats and playing on my stats. Because I would like to do stealth, but I know that my stealth skill is really low. It's at 30%. And I know that my perception skill is high with a 60%, I believe. So I should try to look for a weapon or something like that. But quite honestly, if this was me, I would try to hide. And so I think that is going to be the option that I go with. You run across the cabin, past the bed, and into the bathroom. You lock the bathroom door behind you and step into the tub, making yourself small and covering your mouth. Okay, so no No stealth roll there. That's actually pretty awesome. You hear a crash and a ragged snarl as a stranger barges into the center of the cabin. You squat lower in the tub and strain your ears to listen. The stranger prowls about, his feet dragging along the wooden floor. Every now and then, he howls and belts out a hoarse scream as he searches for you. You hear him at the bathroom door. The knob turns and he pushes at the door, but it does not open. There is a pause, and then you hear sudden footsteps retreating from the cabin. You wait a few moments and lean out of the tub, shining the flashlight at the closed bathroom door. There is a creak to your left. You spin about and turn the light to the bathroom window. The stranger is standing there. He's outside, looking in. He holds your gaze with dead, flat eyes, and his hands search around the window rim for an opening. He doesn't find one. He growls, then steps back and vanishes from sight. You feel a surge of relief and thank your past self for locking the window. You're not safe yet, though. You're sure he'll be back soon. But what are you going to do? So we can go back into the main room of the cabin, or we can stay hidden in the bathroom. The safest thing to do would be to stay in the bathroom, but the man knows that we're there. The smart thing to do would be to go back into the main room and try to reinforce whatever damage he's done, so we can keep him out for good, hopefully this time. So we are going to head into the main room of the cabin to see what the damage is. You step out of the tub and quietly open the bathroom door. The cabin looks empty. You sneak forward toward the door. Oh, so here's where our stealth roll is. Okay. Alright, here's good luck to us. Ooh! Wow, look at that. A hard success, 15 versus 30. I'm actually really surprised we succeeded on that. You switch the flashlight off, but keep it close. You carefully step into the main room of the cabin. You scout out the floorboards cautiously, stepping only on those that won't creak. Eventually, you make it to the door. You peek outside. You can't see the stranger anywhere. You can see the dark woods that surround the cabin. They don't look safe, but surely they're a whole lot safer than where you are now. You hover by the door until you hear a faint growl of anger from around the back of the cabin. You seize the chance and race as quickly as you dare toward the tree line. You make it without giving yourself away. Before long, the stranger's cries have grown faint, and you vanish deep into the woods. You dash out into the night, running as far and fast as your body can manage. The cold air burns your lungs. The surrounding trees sound alien as they rustle, making you all the more terrified. Every few minutes, you emerge from the trees to a section of dirt road. You keep praying that you'll see your partner's car arriving, but deep in your soul, you know she won't come. After almost an hour of mad flight, you come to a crossroads. You recognize it from your journey up to the cabin. You're not sure which direction leads to the highway, and which leads deeper into the woods. The forest feels inescapable. Alright, so we need to make a navigate roll. I actually really forgot that was a skill in this game. And our navigate is only 20%, so I really don't think we're going to pass this one, but here it goes nothing. Yeah, 39 versus 20, that's a failure. You pick one path and follow it. You race along it for almost an hour. Even after all that time, you're not sure if you've gone the right way. The woods around you are endless. The hills are treacherous. Before long, you lose your bearing. It doesn't matter if you took the right way or wrong way at the crossroads. You get tangled up in your own hurried flight and lose all sense of direction. Everything here is identical. Just gray, looming black shapes, any of which you feel like could suddenly decide to come to life, loom down, and devour you. This isn't right. It isn't right. Make a sanity roll. Alrighty, here goes nothing. Yeah, 73 versus 54, that's a failure. You scurry in one direction, then the other, desperately trying to find some kind of landmark you can use to orientate yourself. You find none. Panic threatens to overwhelm you. The fear only makes you search faster. Aimless or not, your wandering exhausts you. You're also beginning to get seriously cold. Before long, you need to take a moment. You lean against a tree and catch your breath. I really hope that somehow in our panic, we manage to grab our slippers, or even better yet, our shoes. Because just the thought of running around out here in the wilderness without shoes is like terrifying in of itself. Anyways, we lose 1d4 sanity, and I lost 2 this time, so not the 3 that we had before, but still, our sanity is slowly going down. We're at 52 out of 60. You try to catch your breath, but it doesn't seem to work. Your hand slides down to the base of the tree, and you collapse down against its roots. You suck air over and over. Your lungs feel icy. Despite the horrible situation you find yourself in, your eyelids feel heavy. You're not sure how long you wait, but it is some time until you feel as though you can get back to your feet. You stand slowly, teeter, but manage to forge on. Right now, you just need to put distance between yourself and the chaos you escaped from. When the sun rises, you'll be able to reassess and begin to find your way back to civilization. Oh, well, this is interesting. We actually take 1 point of damage. Pine needles and dirt crunch under your feet as you walk. You make progress, but with every step, you feel yourself growing wearier. You need to find somewhere to rest. Maybe some high ground would be good? Or should you look for a grotto? Anywhere sheltered would be best, right? Just as you spot a cluster of trees where it looks like you'll be able to rest and stay dry, you hear a faint hiss from behind you. What was it? Was that the sound of static? Adrenaline surges through your system. I think we're going to investigate the sound. Hopefully we're not mistaking the sound of static with, like, the hiss of a snake, because that would really suck. You turn to face the direction the sound came from. You can't hear it anymore. Hello? You ask the darkness. It does not reply. You direct your flashlight in front of you. Its light reveals tree trunks, stones, and fallen logs. Nothing unusual. Your flashlight flickers. Your heart jumps to your throat. Have the batteries died already? You shake and slap the lens, and the beam stabilizes, nice and solid. Phew. Lucky you took the time to find new batteries. You search the area in front of you more carefully. The strong light keeps the shadows at bay and makes you feel more secure. After a more thorough look, you confirm that there's nothing lurking around you. Still, something tells you it's best not to linger here for too long. You stride onward, using the flashlight beam to navigate between treacherous tree roots and sharp rocks. After a few minutes of walking, you spot a small clearing through the trees up ahead. You push towards it, snapping through thick brambles and branches as you go. When you emerge into the clearing, you spot a small tent and a fire pit set up in the center. Looks like somebody is camping here. You might have found help. You made a lot of noise when you pushed through the trees into the clearing. Something rustles inside the tent. You've clearly woken up whoever's inside. Hello? A timid voice calls out. The tent flap unzips, and an unfamiliar man steps out into the moonlight. He's fully clothed. He looks towards you, hesitates, then nods. You notice that his eyes show no sign of surprise. We're gonna opt to respond to the man politely as opposed to aggressively, because we're kind of in his house now. And, well, this can go either way, so he can straight up murder us or not. Let's see what happens. Hello? You call out. You struggle to keep terror or anger from creeping into your voice. The man approaches you. He's smiling. Don't worry, the man says, and holds his hands up, empty palms turned towards you. It's okay. I'm your friend. His voice is small and falls eerily. His eyes are wide with excitement. You look around, but there's nothing in the clearing that gives you any new insight into what's going on. Well, what's happening? You ask. You don't expect a real answer, but to your surprise, you get one. I'm someone who can hear it, the man says, then lowers his hand. Hear what? The child. What? The child of the forest. You've heard it too. I know you have. When it weeps, it sounds like static, you say. The man smiles. Yes, I knew it. You have heard it. You hesitate. Alex, he says. You freeze. How do you know who I am? The child told me. It just wants a family, Alex. That's what we can give to it. The voice in the static? You ask. The child, yes. You keep calling it a child, you say. What actually is it? The man smiles. Something ancient. I know, a strange name for one so old. I believe it was birthed from Mother Earth herself. It exists alone in the wild places of the world. It's lonely and aching. The child, you say, it wants a family? The man nods. It's spent uncountable years alone. It sees past, present, and future. It has tried so desperately to adapt to the technology of our world, but has failed. It just wants people to be with it, here, in its home. He gestures around. It is a burden, this knowledge, the man smiles. I came to this place years ago. I brought my camera. I wanted to document the wild, but I found something far more important to document, something beyond comprehension. I found that the child could somehow manipulate the magnetic particles in my videotapes to show me visions of the future. And so far, they have all come to pass. The child exists beneath the earth, in the soil, in the trees, and the pine needles at our feet. The power of the earth all around it lets it smell and taste and touch anyone who encounters it, whether they have already or not. What do you mean? It sees the future? For the child, there is only now, and now is everything all at once. It's why it was waiting for you, he says. In my time here, the child has shown me many things, all stored in my tapes. I've kept them and labeled them and tried to categorize them as best I could. How can I get out of here? The man furrows his brow. You mean leave? Yes. I want to get out of here and go home. I never want to come back here. Ever. The man shakes his head. I'm afraid it's too late for any of that. The child has chosen you. It awaited your arrival for so long. You shake your head. I don't care. I'm not staying. You turn and make to run, just as a familiar voice rings out. Wait! You spin away from the man. There, standing on the edge of the clearing, is Charlie. Her clothes are flaked with mud and dirt, and there are twigs caught in her hair. But she's here. She's alive, and she's smiling at you. Honey, it's okay. Check back every other Thursday for a new episode of Table for One, a solo role-playing podcast. If you would like to support this podcast, please rate it or give it a thumbs up wherever you happen to be listening from. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, subscribe and be sure to leave a comment. Music and ambience was provided by Tabletop Audio.